Coming from the Truspace, we ain't answer to big neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace.
What's good, y'all? My name's Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Herth. Welcome back to Truspace.
Yep, and let's break down this full moon energy and see how it's going to be hitting all of us collectively. Starting by breaking down this energy, how do you think this full moon is going to be hitting everybody?
So this full moon is going to put us in the energy to fully release what we planted when we had the new moon in Aquarius, which was all about putting ourselves in a new feeling and new emotions to associate, to network, and be fixated and stubborn about these thoughts and ideas that's related to be progressive, inventive, and things related to that, which takes a lot of work. So the full moon in Leo, you should expect, if you planted the right seed, that you could fully express your self-creativity and be self-expressive and figure out a way on how the group can accept it, or it's going to be, it depends whether if you plant the good seed, society, aka the government, would accept it. Saturn and Aquarius, if you did not plant the right seed, what's going to happen is that you're going to play out the energy of being almost like a drama queen, aka being prideful on the stage, because your associate or the people you're trying to get attention from are not like looking at you. I would compare it to like a rapper who believed he could get it or get a deal from the Jews, but then he doesn't get that deal because he's not the image he perceived himself to be, which is going to be a very big here with the moon in Leo. We're going to be swallowed with our own inner life, and having the T-square to Uranus in Taurus bring a lot of challenge for us emotionally to really, as we go on the stage to present this self-expression, this creativity, we have to put our best to bring this uniqueness and originality that we've been developing in Taurus through our physical capacity. But sometimes when the moon in Leo, that could make us very self-expressive, too much on our vision and imagination, so we don't bring anything that's actually stable, which is something sometimes Leos suck at, and that's going to prevent us from getting accepted by Saturn and Aquarius, which requires to have some form of structure. We can just have fire, imagination, visions burning through reality. And sometimes with the moon, full moon in Leo, it could play out like that. So dramatic situations that can make you burn through reality in a very like narcissistic way. And this is where Aquarius won't fuck with you. So you're gonna have to be careful.
For sure. That Aquarius and Leo energy is very interesting because the dynamic and the focus of attention is attention in itself, but it plays out differently. I feel that, or I'm coming to learn more, that Leo just wants attention. Leo just wants to be seen. But Aquarius wants to be seen in a specific way. It wants to be known for a specific thing, and have that. Look at the Saturn influence on the sign. You know, to have a level of status or a level of reputation based on a thought form, though, not on a necessary position that a person plays, but because of the ideas that they purport. You know, you can be a lawyer or whatever occupation, but be a feminist, you know, or be or whatever it is, you know. You could be revolutionary janitor, you know what I mean? And like it doesn't necessarily have to coincide with your job. But look at how Aquarius wants to be seen in a specific way. And it makes sense when we get into the winter time that this is the energy that we want to be in. We've already been sharing our light, Aries, up till now. And expressing our individuality, where throughout the beginning of from the spring and summer, we got to emotionally express things in more of a raw way, more of a naive or non-knowing way. But we already passed that Sagittarius boundary where we have a certain level of understanding of ourselves and other people and our dynamics between each other. So now it's how you want to be perceived. This is why Leo can get into a drama queen, have that drama queen energy, or get that burnt out energy in terms of being seen, but not realizing that it could be way more productive or forward moving, being seen for specific things. It's not always just about being seen. And sometimes, if it's not about the topic, you don't even want to be seen. This is how say stuck on so much of the Leo energy, wanting to be the center of everything. Come to Aquarius, inbox full, DM'd up and all of that. These people are asking this from you, and these people are asking this from you, or you're deep into certain situation that maybe you can't even uphold because you draw so much attention, but not attention for the specific things or the things that you want to have that attention around. So I see that battle, and look at the opposition with the sun and the moon. This is where our focus are. So we're trying to fixate on our associations and how we want to be seen in the social realm, within our social life. Our emotions right now just want to be seen. So and that's what that full moon is. When you have that urge to be seen and to creatively express yourself in more of a raw way, for you to take the center of the stage and let your emotions fly, depending on how you have been planting your seeds, like Harriet was saying, during the new moon, is going to give way on what direction that Leo has. Look at the air. If you have really fixated air in a specific degree and you really control the air supply, you can really control the fire that goes on there. You can take away the air in areas where you don't want it to be, and no fire goes there. So there's a raging fire exactly where you want it to be. And that's how this full moon will play out if you planted good seeds, where you'll be able to be seen, and your emotions and desire can be fulfilled for being seen, but it's also going to be for the specific thing that you want to be seen for, and allowing you to push things forward, where you don't have to be so disconnected, where you don't have to be as logical. Some emotion and feeling could come through and it's still on that logical pathway, because you set up the associations and information network for things to play out that way when you go and express yourself. For sure. And yeah, the Uranus is fucking shit up, man.
It's crazy because it's almost like you're being forced to jump on the stage, but it's a stage, but Pluto and Capricorn destroying the entire world, so you don't know who you're performing to. Everybody's like dying. Uranus and Taurus is forcing everybody to be unique and original, so everybody's trying to get their shit together, so that everybody's gonna go perform there, and they may be able to do or may not be able to do. It's really just forcing you to go out there, because this is the last chance for a lot of generational planets. Like Neptune goes into Aries, Pluto goes into Aquarius, and then Uranus, we're kind of lucky with Uranus. It's giving us a lot of time to really build our unique original value, because right now it's at least in 15 degrees, so giving us a lot of time actually harnessing it. And you could think about this full moon in Leo as a way for you to see if you've been putting the right thing in Uranus and Taurus, and if you could translate it properly. If you did not do the work when it comes to Uranus and Taurus, then you're not gonna have nothing to present, because the full moon in Leo is gonna be dramatic. That's it.
I get what you mean, or it may look like there's a lack of stability.
Basically.
That's there, or a lack of value, or a lack of production. That Taurus energy, it's funny. I have to think of Taurus. And I'm a Scorpio too, so maybe that's just me being biased with Taurus. But I see the lazy aspects of Taurus. I don't want to do shit types of Taurus, you have to do everything for me type of Taurus, and having such high standard Taurus. But Taurus can really produce. It can really output. It's probably the highest level producer, because it has such the need for stability. But sometimes they just make you work for it. Why not? Make you do the work. It's like they're still doing it, but they have to work in making you work. If you get what I mean, that's how they be doing it. But Uranus being there is really, and even starting to understand why it's the Hierophant in tarot. Taurus really looks at the past. if you're trying to gain stability too, and that's your main focus, you're going to look at what's tried and true. This is why it squares Aquarius, forward progressive movement. This is why Taurus is regarded as slow moving, because it's slow but diligent. And it's easier to be slow and diligent on something that's tried and true, something that is already known, something that already has a modicum of value. But Uranus being here, that energy is being shaken up, where we're going to have to find new ways of looking at the tried and true, where we're going to have to innovate and incorporate into a social concept the tried and true, if you get what I mean. And this can be used against us. It's already been used against us. I wonder if this is the alignment that shadow government uses to slip in, the same thing, but in a different shape and form, where they can go and, show you or rebel against certain ideas, but it's something that, and the result of it is another Jesus concept, just like what we have now. But you didn't even realize, through going through all the rebelling energy, and they innovated something old that was tried and true, made it look new, made it look nice, and we all bought into it, not realizing it was the same thing. But we can use this energy by having new ways of looking at and interacting with the tried and true, what's already solid, what's already having value. Like, we don't need to throw a lot of things out. And this is what a lot of Aquarian, forward progressing minded people start to think. Oh, toss it all out. Toss it all out. And then the conservatives are like, nah, let's go back to the Roman age. Oh, let's go. I don't know why Romans, conservatives be obsessed with that shit. Or no, gas, oil, nothing else. We'll never use anything else. Always going to those mindsets, but finding the in between where you can have new ways of looking at the same thing. This is what I feel Uranus is really challenging us. So whatever we're getting attention for is really going to, with this full moon, and whether it plays out as positive, where we're generating a lot of attention for what we want to move forward, or we're just generating a lot of attention, period. A lot of that energy can be used to bring uniqueness out of what's already tried and true, to give us ground to stand on, to give us wood to burn. You know what I'm saying? You can fixate the air with Aquarius energy and fixate the flame, but if they're all fixed signs, so too much air will blow out the fire, too much fire will suck up all the air and suck up. So there's a fine balance between everything that needs to be held, and we'll really get tested. If we haven't planted good seeds, I feel like this T-square is going to feel like a giant push. It's like a push of you into the center of the line. Or the center of the stage, and everybody, gets to see you, or everybody's going to school and you trip down the stairs or something like that, now all eyes are on you and shit like that. It's like that type of energy.
I like how you're describing about learning how to using air element to control the fire element too, like the heart, because the heart we're dealing with the blood and circulatory system. But a lot of people don't know how Aquarius, the meridian or the astrocytes get involved. You have something called the SAE nodes within your heart. The SAE nodes are connected towards your nervous system. They set the rhythm of your heart, which is very important. They also call them the pacemakers. In the Bible, Jesus says, "Blessed be the peacemakers," which people translate as Muslims, but it's not. They're talking about biology, because if Jesus is the heart, he's talking about what's going to bring peace to the body, which would be the SAE nodes, which they call in science the pacemakers, which is connected to the word peacemakers too. So they bring peace to the heart, because you know how to fixate yourself on certain thoughts that does not put you in certain energy to be prideful, like cause certain heart explosion. The ability to contract and expand the heart with control, though, not based on how you feel and shit like that. Yeah. Controlled heart, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because look at like a blood flow, how much ways that can be negative and detrimental. Like you can have bad things going through your body, but with a good information network, going through in your body, I can so see things traveling better. The bad things will get out faster, and the good things will get to where they need to go faster.
Mm-hmm.
You're becoming an airbender. Or bender in general. Dead ass. So yeah, that's how that full moon energy is going, guys. We're really gonna generate a lot of attention. And whether it's going to be for something, an ideal that we really can get behind, that we really want to push forward, and we're getting attention for how we want to be seen, or we're just getting attention, or we're getting attention for being seen in ways that we don't want to be seen. And then you have to go and question, really look and tune into your emotions, and where in your self-expression, did things go wrong for you to not be seen in that way. And then you go and check yourself in that fifth house, in that Leo energy. What are you entertaining? What have you been giving your attention to? And how has that misaligned with how you want to be received? And if you're not being received in that way, don't go out and be like, oh, this person's like this, and they're not seeing, and start blaming them. Nah, nigga, that's you. No matter what, no matter how you slice it, if you're not being seen for the way you want to be seen, there's something that you're doing in your reality to not be seen like that. And it may not be as simple as you think it is. It may be actual internal work that you have to do. Maybe you are as skilled, but you don't have the confidence that, that shines, like me. I'm the best lyricist on planet Earth, but maybe the delivery is a little bit off, or the production's a little bit off and shit like that. But then what? Am I supposed to get mad at everybody for not noticing that I'm the A-list lyricist on planet Earth? Or do you just up your production and better your delivery? So that energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like forcing you to step your game up and really, because as you saying, like, we're getting more deeper into technology, shit like that, AI, ChatGPT, like all type of crazy stuff. And if you're not like aligning your self-expression with the way technology is built up, what's gonna happen is that these AI is gonna take your jobs. Like you might be into self-creativity, writing content, and things like that. But if you don't know how to incorporate it, then you'll feel like your heart got shot by the society, or like where society is headed to, or society betrayed your heart.
Real talk. And you have to see the old and the new. Like, once you have the overarching view, especially when we're talking about planets like Uranus and energies like Aquarius, like the more collective, the more further out energies, you can't be thinking, so conservative, or when things get broad like that, you really start in those overarching perspective. You really start to see we've been recycling shit for a long time. Look at tell me about reaction videos right now. Niggas be reacting off of niggas' reactions off of videos now.
Hey,
that reminds me of like the fucking Mishnah. That reminds me of the Talmud. That reminds me of all of these fucking commentaries. So I'm like, yo, we really come full circle to be commenting on another nigga's comment on a real world thing that had happened. Like, we really come full circle. But imagine you be like, nah, just the Talmud or whatever, and not see that the entire world is actually doing the exact same thing. If you get what I mean. Mm-hmm, and then you can somehow utilize that and bring the Talmud into it if you really need to, or whatever it is that you're holding on to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For sure.
That's 100% fact. We keep recycling the same virtues and principle through like new technologies, but like sometimes these technologies just added on. Sometimes they're unnecessary, but like users get to utilize it. But this is why a lot of ideas get scrapped and thrown out of garbage.
100%. Like, niggas really think that we live in a simulation or something like that. But if I say the world is made out of yin and yang, positive and negative, masculine and feminine, all of a sudden I'm pseudo. Oh, it's like, yo, what the hell are you guys even talking about? We can literally make an entire generated computer world off of zeros and ones because they're mimicking the real world.
Yeah. Like programming, like computer program, is just us taking language and like putting it in a different system.
Exactly.
My brother's a programmer, and he is his language literally.
That makes sense. And he's logic. Oh shit, that's dangerous for him. He has to find some creative outlet. Because this nigga's gonna be so left brain. This nigga's lost in Egypt. He's with Moses walking in Egypt for 40 goddamn years. With that.
Well, he will become like Aaron, the high priest of Levi, the logical person. Like if Moses was the right brain, Levi was the left brain. You know, he's the one who took over, so tell people what to do.
Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, programming definitely has that energy, just recycling of the old already logic stuff that's already been doing. Email, the whole concept, the inbox, and the whole concept of that was how offices were designed. There was literally an inbox, and they used to have tube systems. Like, yo, when I heard about that shit, I didn't believe it until I started seeing pictures and shit like that. But these niggas literally had tubes in offices. Look, I'm signing off this letter or whatever, wrap it up in a tube, shoot, go into folders and shit like that. And that's where the inbox, the outbox, and the whole concept behind email came about, was off of how offices were already ran or administrated. What's that Indian? It was by that Indian nigga, and he was 14 too. Dr. Shiva. I don't know if you heard about that nigga. Young Pharaoh did an interview with that nigga. Oh, so funny. He was just mad. He was pissing off at Bill Gates. He's like, this nigga's a trust fund baby. He bought Microsoft and all that. I actually did. He was so salty. But yeah. Anyways, we can get into how this is all going to be hitting each individual sign. So how that works is,
your camera.
It's shaking.
Your camera's kind of
laggy.
I don't see you anymore.
Yeah, you're lagging on my screen.
I see the logo.
You're lagging on my screen too, but you know what? It's still recording. It's still recording me. And it's still recording you.
Continue.
So if you don't mind, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it, let's try here.
Yeah, I think it was still retained, but yeah. So we'll break it down, talking about how it's going to be hitting Aries, sun sign Aries, but mostly Aries, the energy of Aries collectively. So you never know if you have like heavy energy in Aries or another sign. Not necessarily that's your sun sign. This breakdown of the energy and how it's going to hit the signs in general, can really apply to different areas and aspects. So, you can peep every one and get something out of it, depending on where you have stress in your chart. So that's how we'll break it down. So looking at Aries collectively, for Aries sun signs, it's hitting your Leo in your 5th house and Aquarius in your 11th house. How do you think this full moon is going to specifically be hitting Aries?
Oh, so you guys are basically gonna either really experience this full emotion release, either to be self-expressive or prideful when it comes to your creativity, your self-expression, and things related to that. And if you guys planted the right seed, then you guys are going to find the right associate, and the nature is going to help you facilitate that self-creativity further. But if you did not plant the right seed, what's going to happen is that you might get prideful, you might over-express visions and imagination that your associate and your groups may not know how to help you with. And this might cause the separation between you guys.
100%. And then look at Uranus would be in your 2nd house. So maybe it would be causing, how you've been dealing with that energy may cause a disturbance in your self-worth or in your resources, the attention that you got garnered. Maybe, you end up burning yourself out to a degree energetically, and it starts fucking with your pockets because of the attention that you are drawn, and maybe you weren't able to mitigate it. And then you didn't have the unique, innovative action to take, maybe necessarily at that exact time, to catch up for it or to dodge that financial resource. So watch your pocket there, Aries, too. And with this full moon energy, you know, your creative expressions, and the people that you're getting associated with might really dip into either your actual funds or your self-worth. So make sure the energy is placed in the right areas.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's Aries looking at Taurus. How do you think this full moon's going to specifically be hitting Taurus with the moon in what's it going to be for Taurus? With the moon in the fourth house. Yeah, the moon in the
So
fourth
you guys,
house and the sun in the 10th house.
so you guys gonna experience this full emotional expression or self creativity or being prideful, who's gonna play out at the home, family, your domestic issues, the way you try, how you could get yourself comfortable. But here with the full moon in Leo, man, you could put yourself in such a negative moment. Depending if you planted the bad wrong seed, then all your entire family they're gonna look to you as a flunked out person who's trying to gather all the attention because you didn't get accepted or you couldn't find the right associate when it comes to the people in your business, your status. That's because you probably did not bring the right self image when it comes to the people you need to connect with business and status and things like that. But if you planted the right seed, then you could express yourself, bring that creativity at home, and it's going to be accepted. If anything, it's going to be nurtured at home. And it's going to
Mhm.
allow you to actually continue associating and networking when it comes to your business, your status, your public life, and find the right people who's going to kind of work with your home life since you experienced the full moon here.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Taurus, and that energy is funny because with Taurus, I feel like they would already trying to take control of their home life to a specific degree because it garners them so much a place of stability. But yeah, this energy can really lead to you being a little bit too controlling, a little bit too self-centered on how the home looks, and then how you obtain comfort, and really trying to creatively express, you know, comfort in home and relaxation to a point where it becomes domineering,
Mm-hmm.
um, for sure. But if you sun in the 10th house have been actually moving forward and making gathering the information logically associated and really pushing forward your responsibilities, like you've really been responsible for how you want to be seen, and you've been connecting with the people, gathering the information, and really refining that process, and pushing those ideas, fixating on those thoughts and ideas. So when we look at you, we see that, and that's what's been playing out in your career or your responsibilities in general. Maybe now when you try and take control and set the light on and control something at home, it works out better because you set the standard for that, or you take care of your responsibilities, and it gave way for you to either have the space, less stress, or for the home life, the comfort, or close ones to see that you're serious about certain things, or see that you got certain things down. You know how like somebody would be like, oh, clean that shit up. It's like, oh, or clean your room up, but your room's messy, or whatever you have is messy too. So why the fuck are you telling me to clean shit up? That's you. You already been clean shit up, and they know that you've been cleaning shit up. Not only did you clean shit up, you then set up the whole feng shui of the room, and you took responsibility of the whole energy and shit like that. And then they have no choice but to accept your vision because they've seen how much energy you put in towards it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how it'd be hitting Taurus. Looking at Gemini, uh, it'll be in Gemini's uh, third house. The moon in Leo in Gemini's third house, and the sun in Aquarius in their ninth house. How do you think this is going to be hitting Gemini?
Mm-hmm. So you on seeing and networking and trying to be progressive when it comes to your broad experiences and your understanding about God and spirituality and philosophy. You just probably found people or did not find people who will help you make the broader understanding more scientific, since you guys have Aquarius in the 9th house. So this is gonna be actually sounds very interesting. While you guys are gonna be experiencing the full moon in house. So if you guys planted the right seed, this is gonna allow you to emotionally express yourself in a creative way, in a way that the people within your immediate surroundings are able to accept your creativity. People are gonna enjoy it. Your siblings, your coworkers, your neighbors, everybody within your immediate surrounding. But if you planted the wrong seed, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna be come off too prideful, too dramatic, and it's gonna bother all the people within your immediate surroundings. Because we're dealing here with mutable air, which requires a sense of being flexible, indecisive when it comes to your thoughts and ideas, and not really putting that much light and awareness to it, which might make it very stagnated. This is also the house of like transportation too, and it's all about like transporting things. So the last thing you want to be there is something that's statically expressing itself in a certain way, because it's going to prevent you from gathering information, just being prideful, which is unnecessary.
Yeah, a lot. Like if you've been planting bad seeds, I don't even know if you want to be outside traveling like that. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, Gemini.
No one will like you. No one will like you.
If you know you've been planting bad seeds, I don't know. Maybe just stay home. You know, don't go out clubbing. Don't be doing all of that stuff. Don't be doing all of that stuff. You chill out this weekend.
You get beat. You get beat. Not everybody want to see that shit in your third house.
Chill out, Gemini, this weekend. Just don't go too crazy. And you know what? Make it intellectually travel. You know. Don't make it, and then you can have, oh, maybe I thought about the wrong thing, or I gave emotion to the wrong thing. You didn't go outside and get knocked in your face. That type of energy. But I see a lot of, it makes sense why Gemini would even try to take so much control over their surroundings. It makes sense because Gemini being so analytical and the way that they see things, and so having the need to express and communicate, who is directly around you becomes so important. So wanting to control that, they may be having the future, like the opposition energy, Sagittarius, of how broad that they want to expand their analytical thoughts or what they want to accumulate. So a lot of attention and blame can go on your surroundings. So if you've been planting bad seeds, you may find yourself blaming your surroundings, blaming your siblings, blaming them, and trying to be controlling and domineering, or focusing on the negative traits and trying to do all that, when you should have been planted the seeds in your 9th house, the higher education, learning from social situations, broader social situations, knowing that, okay, I have to go through experiences to learn specific things, or I have to accumulate and spread certain people, become social and be seen a certain way if I want to have these experiences, if I want to have this knowledge. So you can't take the easy way out and try and control what's close to you. Sometimes you have to spread out far to take care of something that you want to be close, if you get what I mean, Gemini.
Geminis, they give you the impression like they're trying to breathe all the air around you.
Dead ass.
And they know they can't. They know they can. That always makes it mentally unstable, and then lose energy and then disappear.
Facts, man. Facts. Just talking to be talking. And you know what? You forget to listen. Gemini. But yeah, that's how that full moon's going to be hitting Gemini. Looking at Cancer, how do you think this full moon's going to be hitting Cancer, with it in the full moon in Gemini? I mean, the full moon in Leo in the 2nd house, and the sun and Aquarius in the 8th house.
Wow. So yeah, so if you guys planted the right seed, you guys gonna have the right self-expression and creativity to basically bring more light to your value, your asset, your sense of security. And you're a Cancer, you're all about the emotions and the feelings, and finding ways of getting connected with the people to make yourself comfortable. But if you did not plant the right seed here, it's gonna play out as you not having the right self-expression because you don't have the right values, a sense of stability, and how you can make yourself grounded. And this is gonna really tick you off since you were supposed to really pay attention to your eighth house. Right now, since Aquarius is there, you have to focus on associating and networking and focused and being on ideas and ways of being progressive that prevent you from falling deeper into your vulnerabilities and your eighth house, like kind of insecurity. Aquarius was supposed to help you create an air bubble so you can kind of stay above the water, be logical about your feelings and your emotion. But if you then not put in the work, then what's gonna happen? The full moon, the bad seed, you're gonna express the wrong thing about values and assets that you don't have, and then it's gonna make you feel more vulnerable because you're associated, and the people there is gonna pinpoint to your vulnerabilities are the same thing that's prevented you from developing some money, asset, a way to ground yourself down, which is very important for a Cancer, especially a cardinal water sign.
Yeah, need stability.
Mm-hmm,
Security is a big aspect of Cancer for sure. And then the full moon in the second house, you see, it makes sense because Cancer, because you catch so much feelings, because you have those nurturing and healing qualities, and that emotional nature that you can't run away from, not necessarily having the exact forte, depending on your other alignments and shit like that, but not having an exact forte to be one holistically, logical and mental. You're an emotional person. It becomes your value, your second house. A lot of your resources and talents comes from what you can give. Leo, the love and attention that you can give. You end up thinking that that's your value and that's your ground that you can stand on, Cancer, because of that healing thing. But this energy can also turn into the nurturing mother or the devouring mother, if you get what I mean. The mother who gives too much of herself and over-dominates the child. Cancer really has to be careful of that energy, especially with the full moon in Leo hitting your second house, where depending if you haven't been planting the right seeds with that Aquarius energy and the moon goal here, you may really get forceful with the love that you give. And sometimes, Cancer, you catch a lot of feelings. And how you feel, I don't want to feel that shit. I don't want to feel that shit sometimes. So sometimes you just got to keep that shit to yourself. But then when you think your whole value and stability comes from giving, you just be giving a whole bunch of sometimes, Cancer, you just need to go and take a bath. Sometimes you just need to go and unwind and self-care, something. And then maybe you can start coming and giving and things will be clear. But without reflection, without that clear energy, and you be trying to give nigga shit, it's all muckiness, it's all nastiness. It's like, it's too much. Yeah. It feels smothering. And then look at how that's playing on your insecurities. And because you feel emotionally unstable, that's why you feel like you have to give your emotions. It's coming from a place of feeling emotionally unstable because maybe you're not being seen how you want to be seen. You should really connect with people who have went through the same trauma as you have. Maybe people who have the same insecurity that you have, and talk with them. Debate these ideas. I guarantee people who went and transmuted that energy, guarantee they can put it in a perspective where you can take some emotion out of it and see the logic and rationality that is in your insecurity so that you can transform that energy. Otherwise, you'll just be giving monkey ass energy to everybody until you clean up that eighth house. And this full moon is really going to demonstrate that if we've been planting those bad seeds. Otherwise, you may really be able to connect with people based off of a certain trauma. And then there's increased value in what you can give because of the networks that you created. And you can feel confident in your value of giving people because your insecurities are out of the way, and you have the network of people that can connect with that. And you'll feel that emotional security.
If you're a Cancer, I don't blame you. We live in a world built of Capricorn energy. So probably, as soon as you were born, you're probably like, you didn't like nothing about this realm we were born in.
Yeah, as soon as Cancer was born, that was broken out of them. Absolutely.
And as soon as you lift your home, man, that's when things got ugly. So I said immediately, yo.
That's facts. That's facts. So we understand, Cancer. We understand. We understand why you like that. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, that's how the full moon is hitting Cancer. Looking at Leo, full moon's obviously in your first house for Leo sun signs, and making the sun in Aquarius in the seventh. How do you think this is going to hit?
So you guys are supposed to put in work to associate yourself with progressive people. Is gonna help you build something, because having it in the seventh house is interesting, because the seventh house here is ruled by Venus, so it requires to be more like customer service orientated, like saying thank you and being very liberal, while Aquarius here is forcing you to really be progressive and inventive and unique with the way you what type of relationships you get into, what type of marriages you get into. And now having the full moon in your first house, this is gonna either show you that you have basically, because you're gonna bring some form of self-expression and creativity based on what's going on with your first house, which is your personality, your personal issues, your attitude, how you view life, and that's all gonna depend on the people you've been connecting with. So if you were not connected with the right people, you're gonna be extremely prideful, extremely dramatic about who you are, about your personal issues. This is where you're associated in the area of the seventh house. Might leave you separate from you, because you don't know how to handle yourself there. But if you're planting the good seed, then you'll be able to express yourself properly when it comes to your first house issues, your personality, or even knowing how to put a better light into your appearance, or how you're seen by the world, which is very important. The first house deals with Aries, so it's all about initiating, but sometimes we don't spend a lot of energy, which is what Leo is gonna do here for you, allowing you to be fixated enough so you bring light into the area that you may not spend a lot of time in, making you more aware. And that reaction is you're gonna get from your relationship is gonna tell you on how you can correlate it better.
100%. 100%. It's very important for Leo to be honest. Very important for Leo to be honest with their emotional expression, because things get really confusing after. And not only does it get confusing for you, everybody else can see that you're lying. Like Leo may not be, I don't know, unless they turn into a show or something like that. But you kind of exude what you're trying to do, if you get what I mean, the energy and the light that you're shining. Maybe if you have other alignments, maybe you'd be more cunning and hidden with things. But still, it's very important for Leo to be honest, and Leo energy to be honest in its expression, for things to get muddy. Otherwise, you're going to be gaining attention for all of the wrong things. You know, you're going to be gaining friendships for all of the wrong things. Friendships surrounded by drugs, friendships surrounded by, negative aspects, the things that you don't want to be doing, things that you rather not be doing, but yet somehow that's what dominates your life. And that's what this full moon's really going to be showing you. With it in your seventh house, I bet if you haven't been planting good seeds, you're not seen the way that you want to be seen in your relationships, and it caused a very selfish outburst, or a very self-centered view of forceful of this is how I am, or this is how I want to be seen, or you feel like you're not being seen for who you are, if you haven't been planting those right seeds. But that's because you didn't think of that while you were having the relationships, and based off of starting these relationships off of certain ideas and entertaining certain things, you created certain standards that how people are going to be looking and receiving your energy. But if you know that that's who you are, this is my quality, I don't want people to see me for this, let me facilitate that, and then you incorporate that into your relationships. And this is what I mean about being honest, because otherwise you're going to be creating a lie. But when you're honest about how you want to see, this is how Leo can get away with being an asshole. There's only a few signs, maybe Leo, Libra, And maybe Scorpio, to sneak this in. But I swear that they're the only ones that could get away with saying certain things. The Leo is just the way they were so charismatic, just the way that they said it. And Libras, just the way that they put it. It sounded kind of poetic. And Scorpio maybe is a little bit mysterious and shit like that. But
like Drake through Birds of Blue.
exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get away with a lot of stuff. Like you can say the brazen shit. You can say wild shit. But it's known for, and people still see you for how you want to be seen. And you can go crazy with certain expressions and really fully express yourself because you created relationships based off of those boundaries of how you wanted to have been seen and been open to doing the unique and innovative ways of having those relationships, stepping outside of the box. So you can have those relationships, so you could go crazy, you know what I mean. There's a lot of people who don't have friends that they can fully express themselves around, which is terrible, which is a terrible thing to have. So Leo, that's what this full moon is going to be revealing, of whether you've been doing that, putting the work in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the full moon is hitting Leo. What about Virgo in their 12th house? I think the full moon's going to hit Virgo in the 12th house, with Leo in the 12th house, and then Aquarius in the 6th.
So y'all Virgos, you guys gonna be forced into really express your sense of self creativity when it comes to your dreams, your illusion, your subconscious mind, everything that you keep probably like behind the scene. And if you planted the right seed, you're gonna be able to express yourself creatively, borrow from that 12th house energy, and actually utilize it properly and bring it on the stage. And that's gonna help you to deal with your associate and the people you've been networking with to really help your work, your routines, your patterns. Since you're a Virgo, you're into like practicality, what makes sense, details. But right now, having Aquarius in your 6th house, I could see how you're trying to be innovative, you're trying to be unique, original, you're trying to bring people in to help push self-service. But right now, for you to really serve the collective Aquarius, you're gonna need to bring that sense of self-creativity that's gonna happen right now. The full moon being in 12th house. If you planted the wrong seed, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna be expressing the flunked out things, being dramatic comes to what's in your subconscious, what's in your 12th house, things like that, and that's gonna prevent you from moving to your 6th house, your routines, your patterns, the people who you network with to help you move these things further, but they can't help you since you might be too lost with what's going on with your 12th house.
Yeah, for sure. Paying too much attention to the things that are undoing you, too much attention to things that are confusing, too much attention to imaginations, and not necessarily on the physical reality that is around you. So yeah, this full moon with the bad seeds, you could be looking flunked the hell out. You could be looking all different type of dreamy, all different type of La La Land, a La La Land free pass, a season pass to La La Land. This could it really be looking like? But this Aquarius season was about you adding logic to your routines and habits and how you organize practicality in general and how you go about learning things. I think we were talking about it in the last video, talking about how the mutable signs denote education, talking about how we learn, and it makes sense because after we initiate and fixate, obviously there's a whole bunch of lessons through going through those processes. So Virgo is an aspect where we really learn about the physical reality. The 6th house is where we really learn about physical reality and physical consequences. So dividing a routine based off of logic, because Aquarius is here, and kind of disconnecting your emotions to a degree, so you can put the most logical routine together so that you can push a certain thing forward, so that you can be seen a certain way and you're putting the work towards it, so that you can be selfless when you're in service and it play out as a good thing. You're not being used and abused and stuff like that. If you've been planting those seeds, the attention that's going on to your 12th house because of the daily routines and habits that you have been putting forward because of the logic that you have infused into them. It's going to give you clear sight on your subconscious mind and how things lead to being stored in your subconscious mind and what you have been paying attention to, and how, and maybe you can incorporate more of your dreams and imagination energy when it's not being blocked by flunked outness, when you're not fixating on certain visions. Because you've been doing the daily routines and habits that have the clear sight, you can see where your energy can go, so you don't have to force it to go anywhere. But yeah, that's how it's hitting Virgo. I'm looking at Libra. How do you think this is going to hit Libra with the full moon in the 11th house and the sun in Aquarius in the 5th house?
So you guys are going to be emotionally releasing a lot of self-creativity and self-expression when it comes to the area of the 11th house, dealing with your associated, your friends, your group, and people you want to work with for long term. And well, you guys have had Aquarius in the 5th house. You guys are supposed to network, connect with people, and figure out ways you guys could be more progressive when it comes to self-creativity, self-expression, so you can move that area of life forward. But right now, having the full moon in your 11th house, if you planted the right seed, you're going to express yourself properly and show your creativity, and people within your associate and groups are going to like it, and this is going to help you to find associated and people to network with who share the same creativity, the same self-expression, because you decided to put that on the stage by planting the right seed. But if you did not plant the right seed, what's going to happen is that you're going to express a bunch of dramatic energy, a bunch of attention in the area of the 11th house, which is unnecessary there. It's all about associating and networking, connecting. So, and that's going to push certain people that you've been building this network associated relationship with, your self-creativity, your self-expression, even potential people you want to get into a romantic relationship, children, because you're trying to develop a high mentality about these things. But if you did not plant the right seed, you're going to experience the negative consequences there.
For sure.
You're not gonna be received properly.
For sure. It's going to be like, why aren't I being received how I want to be received? But if you haven't been planting right seeds, like the Harris was saying, then maybe you were trying to creatively express yourself in the way that you wanted others to see you, instead of being honest. You add a little bit too much logic to your 5th house, too much logic to your creative expression, and didn't allow enough honesty to come through. And this happens with Libra a lot because you're so dictated by your relationships and your social life and the people that are around you. So dictated that by that you their energy can move you and sway you all different types of ways, way more than anybody else. And you see yourself through your relationships. You self-identify through your relationships a lot of the time. So this is what leads you to adding a little bit more logic and less feeling and emotion to how you creatively express yourself, which makes sense. And this is the indecisiveness of Libra, of where that comes in too. But when Libra understands its ultimate power of mirroring people, Libras are mirrors. Libras will show you how you are acting, if you get what I mean. They are going to reciprocate your energy. They're Kakashi Hatake, the copycat ninja. Dead ass, where they'll copy and follow all of your moves. But once Libra understands that it has that quality, that it takes on so much of the people that it's in the relationships and partnerships with, and uses that to its advantage, you can become, instead of a mirror, you can become a sponge. And then now you're an amalgamation of the people that you have relationships with. So if you have good relationships with good people, you can start assimilating the best out of all of them and start utilizing them. And this is how you can utilize that Aquarian energy with your self-expression. Now, once you step into that, you know where you are and where you're centered in that situation. So when you go and creatively express things, you don't have to become less emotionally connected, but more emotionally connected, if you get what I mean. And then how you creatively express yourself would be start to be received more because you understand the dynamic that you're playing within the relationship. Sometimes Libra just ends up reflecting the negative aspects of another person back to them. And, you know, the other person doesn't understand this relationship or this mirroring aspect. So they're just getting this nasty, you know, thing. And they may not even know. And then Libra doesn't even know that they have that. Okay, so it's just nastiness being passed back and forth. Don't realize that they're just mirroring each other. So that's how it'll be hitting Libra. Looking at Scorpio, Scorpio has this full moon going through their 10th house. So the moon and Leo in their 10th house and the sun in their 4th house. How do you think this will be hitting Scorpio?
So you guys, Scorpio guys are supposed to really build on associating and networking and build high mentalities and logical system on the way you guys deal with home, family, domestic issues. That's gonna be hard since this Cancer deals with cardinal water. You gotta connect to the emotion. Where Aquarius demand you to have a logical structure that's inventive to deal with the home, which makes sense since the home, our family, makes up the backbone of our business and our structure. So right now, having the full moon in your 10th house, if you've been connecting properly at the home, really try to be associative, try to be real logical and deal with these things, then you're going to be able to emotionally release and express yourself creativity within your business, your status, your public life. But the moon here is debilitated, so you're going to be highly sensitive about how you're being seen by the public. This is going to be a major key here. If you planted the right seed, then the people will receive you well in your public life and your business life. This is gonna be hard. This is gonna require a lot of trying to get comfortable with getting crucified, like literally here, because it's the 10th house. But if you plant the negative seeds here, then you're gonna emotionally express a bunch of flunked out imagination, visions, prideful energy that's unnecessary for business, unnecessary for your career. And man, the moment if you go to work and act prideful, you're immediately getting kicked out. Like no one likes this shit.
Yeah, no one likes that shit. Yeah, for sure.
No one likes this shit. So, and if you guys experience the negative seed, what's gonna happen is that gonna lead to you basically not be able to connect with your home and family, because that's almost like you went to work, you expressed this flunked out thing, then you got kicked out, then you went back to home, but now home gotta disassociate away from you because you have nothing to bring. But like if you planted the right seed, you express yourself properly, it comes to your 10th house, and then you're seen on the stage, and then you're being appreciated, then that's will correlate to your home life and your domestic life, since you feel like sometimes a lot of people don't realize dealing with our home life and business is very hard. Sometimes if we're successful at one of them, it could be easier to deal with the other one as opposed to not being successful in either of them. Could you imagine experience like you're losing your job and then a family member dying too at the same time? Man, that will break your heart. But if you just lost a family member, but you have a lot of money, I'm not saying it will make it lesser than that. I'm just saying that it will help you deal with one side of the equation better as opposed to dealing with the same thing at the same time.
100%. If your home's not in order, don't expect the world to be in order. Like just even looking at the world, like people be so flunked out. Like people be having their family in a whole heap of mess, but expecting to have a certain status and be received and something like that. Because the world's fucked up too, people receive them. Like that. Elon Musk being a good example, where Elon Musk, he's a billionaire, he's the richest man, and he's so smart and all of that. What's his relationship with his kids? One of his kids changed their gender, changed their name, and disowned him.
They did?
Yeah, man.
I did not know. Well, his wife looks kind of. His looks kind of like his wife energy looks kind of different than his energy. Funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he's an Aquarius too, so he may not even know what he did. Some alien that he went and channeled.
Aquarius sun.
Yeah, yeah, Eli. I'm sure. I believe he's an Aquarius. Yeah, yeah.
This is why this guy face is so robotic, so cold, so like like I thought this is a robot or some form of AI when he was doing that interview with
Aquarius.
Joe Rogan. Yeah, literally.
Literally. But then look at that. Is it worth it? Is it worth being the richest man in the world? If your house is out of order, your kids don't want to talk to you, like, is that worthy of a sacrifice? And that's the type of things that happen when you're talking about the balance between home and public life. And that's something that Scorpio you have to understand, because in such a need for comfort, and Scorpio, you're controlling. I'm a Scorpio too. We have to understand where our energies lie, so we can understand how to start utilizing them better and making the most out of them. So that Cancer energy, that fourth house, we get so comfortable with that energy that we can become so defensive with it. Now that Scorpio starts protecting your fourth house, adding super iron in defense. Now the crab and the scorpions getting together type of thing. You could really get stuck in that space. I literally have my sun in Scorpio in the fourth house, so I'm telling you.
I was gonna say that. I was like, yo, this alignment sounds like I heard this somewhere.
That's jokes. But the sun being in Aquarius is literally you adding more logic to that situation. It's adding more of that push, taking less emotion out of the situation, showing you how to go about comfort logically, how to go about self-healing logically, how to go about domestic issues and dealing with your private life logically. So you're kind of loosening some of that emotional power hold that you have over your private life, and hoping so much for comfort. This season we were supposed to be planting new better ways of expressing that energy, so that it won't be trickle into our public life. And then we can start feeling proud once we start adding more and more logical ways, and everything's more balanced. We can start being more emotionally expressive in our public life and how we go things out in the world, because our home is in order. We took certain emotions out and stuff like that. Now, okay, you wake up a little bit earlier, or you stop looking at being lazy as much, or you start scheduling your laziness so it doesn't come into contact, if you get what I mean, and being more social about your private life too. Scorpio, the secretness. Don't even get me started. Like I'll tell you, I know. You just talking about certain things with other people, talking about your private life, puts things into certain perspectives. Maybe now you don't feel as much weight in terms of responsibilities. You don't feel like you have to be as dominating, and be in the center of things in your status in private in public life. If you get what I mean, you can accept a more background role, and that's where Scorpio is its strongest, playing behind the scenes. But when you're behind the scenes and you try to take too much power control, you try and jump out in front and forget that all the controls are behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's how I'll be hitting Scorpio. Looking at Sag, this will be in Sag's, the full moon being in Sag's, what's it called? Third house, or ninth house, with the moon in Leo and the sun in the third house. How do you think this is going to hit Sag?
Oh, so y'all Sagittarius, y'all into like broad philosophical wisdom and philosophy, and even indecisive about how y'all experience and express these things. You guys are walking with God, basically. That's what I call Sagittarius. So I guess you guys are supposed to build this network and be more associative and be more like stable in your way of thinking when it comes to your third house, the area of immediate surroundings, dealing with curiosity, early education, the area of brothers, siblings, co-workers, and neighborhood. You were supposed to try to be more fixated and focused there, as opposed to allow the everything within your immediate surroundings to move you around, which is important to obviously gather information. But even with Aquarius, you're trying to formulate a group or a plan around your immediate surrounding, so you don't get lost. It's almost being strategic about what's going on around you, but not strategic to the point that you miss out information. That's the key here. So having the full moon in your ninth house, if you've been planting the right seed when it comes to associating and networking within your immediate surrounding, then you're going to be able to express your sense of self-creativity, your self-expression when it comes to your ninth house and your understanding of philosophy, wisdom, spirituality, morality, and broad experiences. Since you guys were really focused on being associated with your third house, and that allowed you guys to gather enough information, small details, which build up to like the broad understanding of what's going on with your guys' life. But if you planted the negative seed here and you were not putting the work by associating and paying attention to what's going on with your immediate surroundings, your co-workers, your neighbors, and so on and so forth, what's going to happen here, you're going to feel very prideful, very dramatic about maybe the lack of wisdom you have, the lack of understanding, the lack of broadness, and things like that. It's going to be very hard here, since the ninth house deals with mutable fire. You got to be more flexible, adaptable. But if you planted the right seed, you're going to be too fixated here, too stubborn, preventing things from coming, more broad experience from coming your way. It's almost like this is the house of God, so it's almost like you're trying to be God, which is like unnecessary here. You're supposed to allow God to show himself to you.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's when Sagittarius is at its best. That's when Sagittarius accesses its full power, once it's able to have faith and hold on to that optimism, for sure. So yeah, you can become prideful off of your experiences and things that you that you have went through, and really hold on to certain experiences, really fixate on certain experiences instead of trying to be seen differently in your surroundings. But that's the seeds that we're trying to be planting, and how you want to be received in your immediate surroundings, and what mentalities did you want to be building with this Aquarius season. So you're not going to feel received by the people that is around you. So there could be so much attention on, past experiences, maybe when you're seen in a different way, or so much daydreaming and visualizing of being somewhere else and stuff like that, and you kind of lose yourself, go too broad. With the moon in Leo, you could go, and being a Sag, you could go too broad, and Leo, the moon in Leo will give you the jetpack and the pridefulness to keep on going. To keep on going. You know those ones where you went a little bit too far, but you're so prideful that I'm not gonna turn back. Nah, fuck it, I'm gonna keep on going type energy.
Oh, that's my exact alignment. Like I relate to this so hard,
yo. You don't want to be doing that. When you could have just been more logical about what you surrounded yourself by, and having more of a innovative way, communicating and being more active and involved, and extracting less emotion in how your surroundings are receiving you, and really be more extracting the logic and how can you make this better. If you're starting to emotionally responding to it, that's what triggers the running away, be like, fuck this, nah, I'm gonna go into my imagination, or nah, fuck this, it's Allah, or God, and you forget about your siblings, surroundings, and the people that are around you, and the things that you have to do necessarily. You're like, nah, when I die, that's that type of energy. You'd be like, nah, in the afterlife, be like, nah, but what about now, nigga? What about, it's not over yet. But yeah, that's how this energy could be hitting Sag. Looking at Capricorn, we have the full moon in Leo going through Capricorn's 8th house, and the sun in Aquarius going through their 2nd house. How do you think this is gonna hit?
that depends if you have those people planted the right seed, then you could rise and express yourself.
You know, I feel like it makes a lot of sense because I feel like Capricorn, maybe it tries to utilize things so much and capitalize things that maybe they forget about their own talents, that they forget about their own resources, and it ends up playing out,
That's
you
deep.
know, right, right.
That's
Uh,
deep, yo. That made me start thinking about all type of business and how they may like people, which prevent them from. I have my own. I never had to like somebody. I never had to.
I think about that with farming, like people don't understand. I talk about buying land, but I'm like, y'all don't understand. Once I get land and I can grow my own food, I don't have to work unless I want something. You know, if you get what I mean. I'm not gonna die, you know. But people forget that. But now, you know, oh, food scarcity and all of this other different type of stuff. You know, that's the thing. Capricorn getting so business oriented and all of that, whereas Taurus may be watering the plants and stuff like that. Watering the plants. Capricorn's trying to turn it into a plant business, nigga. How can we turn this whole into a whole business, or how could we be as efficient? How can I water 10 pots of plants at the same time? It's like, yo, relax. You don't have to do 10 pots at the same time. It doesn't have to be that efficient if we're sacrificing other areas. You know, it's not necessarily wholeheartedly about efficiency, and that's something Capricorn we got to learn. So there's been a lot of emphasis on, you know, how being received, how you want to be received, and self-worth that's being placed in, you know, with so much attention on controlling things or utilizing things and making things efficiently. What is your resource, you know, and you may lose sense of value that's within yourself, especially if you're not being received the way that you want to be received. And this is going to be dealing with your insecurities. When if light gets shunned here, if more emotion gets shunned there, you know, Capricorn's weak to energies of the moon. And you can tell once things start getting really emotional, Capricorns be getting all sensitive and shit like that. You know, once you start diving in, asking a little bit of questions to Capricorn, it's like, oh, what do you mean? You know, they're getting so upset. It's like, damn, literally, Capricorn can turn into Cancer like in the split of a second. Get so emotional.
A lot of business owners like kind of separate themselves because they're fucking sensitive, yo.
That's facts, and that's the controlling nature where you won't even put yourself in a position to have certain things happen. Which makes sense, but you have to clear out those insecurities because light is going to be shone on them, and then there's a lot of creative expression that gets to be shone on what's behind the scenes. You have to look at what's behind the scenes if you're going to be most efficient, if you're going to try and really take control of things or reach your ambitions. You're gonna have to check behind the curtain. You know, like Capricorn being the mountain goat, you're trying to get to the goal, right? You're trying to get to the peak, aka Wizard of Oz. You're trying to get to the wizard, but then you're not gonna get to the Bumbleclot wizard until you open and see behind the curtains. And that instance is going to happen. You better have your insecurities in place. Otherwise, you won't be received for the talents that you have, and you'll start to question your self-worth because you're trying to hide light off of certain insecurities because, you know, that doesn't look right and stuff like that. So you can hide things all you want and try and be as efficient and business oriented all you want, but light is going to get shown in those areas, and it's going to fuck up your business. It's going to fuck up your efficiency. It's going to fuck up the things that you're responsible for. So you have to clean up that eighth house. Sure. But yeah, that's all I'll be looking for Capricorn. Looking at Aquarius, sign of the hour, or it's your season. So it's going to be hitting you, obviously, with the sun in your first house and the moon in your seventh house. How do you think this full moon is going to be hitting Aquarius?
Properly for this. Lack of self-love or lack of
100%. When you're as logical as Aquarius, especially about how you are presenting yourself, a lot of thought maybe doesn't go into, the afterwards in the relationship, and how much you get to express yourself in your relationships, because you're like, nah, everything's so logical. You want it to be seen in specific ways. It ends up you creating relationships for other reasons, or you end up creating relationships that where you won't be able to fully creatively express yourself if you haven't been planting the right seeds and understanding who you are. Like, this whole Aquarius season is about understanding who Aquarius is. We've all been looking at Aquarius to see how for us to mitigate this energy. So a lot of eyes have been on you, a lot of eyes has been on Aquarius, and how they have been moving this season in terms of how we should all respond, and seeing Aquarius getting flunked out. It's like what we don't want to do to be getting flunked out. So and Aquarius, you could really self-identify with the information that you gather, really self-identify with how you want to be seen. Once you self-identify with how you get to be seen, this is the disconnect with Aquarius. This is how you start losing emotion, because you shouldn't be your personality shouldn't be dependent on how you want to be seen. Your personality should just be your fucking personality. You see, by that you're already thinking too much. You're already thinking too much.
That was very robotic personality. You don't have to set up a circuit of information. You're not a fucking robot. You're not a machine.
It's facts. It's facts. Even hearing people talk, and the Aquarius, like the scientists and engineers talk, they talk like everything is mechanical. and everything works like clockwork. You know, I remember hearing so much stuff. People thinking that I remember people telling me that the vaccine was going to, there's a hole, describing it like there's a hole in our DNA and the vaccine's gonna patch up the hole. And I'm like, who told you that, bro? I was like, who even told you that you're flawed in the first place? Like you're a fucking machine. This nigga said put some glue on the bitch and it'll be good again. Just duct tape the motherfucker and it'll be good again. Like, well, nigga, that's not how it works. But you can get into that mechanical mind, you know, especially if there's a body of knowledge and a group of people that'll back you behind certain things. You can get so lost. You can get so lost. You can really find yourself through your relationships and how people, look what I'm talking about with you having this full moon in your 7th house. You may trigger a lot of mirror energy where people show you about yourself. People show you how you are exposed to you, how you want to creatively express yourself, and show how you're suppressed in your relationships based off of how you presented yourself. Or they show you the energy that you're putting out and who you're saying you are. You're showing you like, whoa, I'm not that. I'm not like that. So I really applaud you to trust in your friends and trust in relationships that are going to give you a creative outlet. Trust in relationships that are going to, one, challenge you to be an individual. People that understand you as an individual and you can creatively express yourself as an individual. You know, it's important for you to have friends outside of, you know, you could be a basketball player and everything around you is basketball. It's important for you to have a friend that doesn't play basketball, just so you can stay sane and stay connected to the world in ways other than that. Otherwise, you could really lose yourself and be identified with basketball. And you can take that and apply that to whatever situation you're going through. So yeah, that's how it'll be hitting Aquarius. Looking at Pisces, finally Pisces. How is this full moon going to be hitting Pisces with the sun in Aquarius in their 12th house and the moon in Leo in their 6th?
Prideful about that much. Back a ball on how you get that, make it simple. Your associate was supposed to help you. Chance video on the full moon.
One hundred. When I hear teamwork makes the dream work, I'm starting to hear less just Aquarius and the transition between Aquarius to Pisces, literally.
Yeah. I even argue if we start with Pisces first, and then of course would be better because if we all have the same dream.
I get what you mean. Exactly. I get what you mean. Exactly. Because, like, say if that energy isn't balanced or you haven't been planting the right seeds in that energy, everybody can't get behind your dreams because that shit's all muddied and you know, it doesn't include, there's not a seat for everybody on that dream. What the fuck we all gonna be fucking building on? You know, it's your own personal collective delusion of the world based off of how you want to be received. It can add a whole lot of distortion. But with the full, if we've been planting the right seeds, you know, and connecting with the right people, you know, this is adding a little bit of dryness to or a little bit of logic to your subconscious, and this does wonders. Teamwork makes the dream work is for real. Once it's built, the dream is built for the team. We can really all add to it and do it. A lot of people's dreams, and they don't realize, is, you know, more of an individual thing, or more or they're not really understanding the influences that are coming by, so they're not setting it up so other people can tag on and jump onto it. And this is where the full moon in the sixth house comes in, where you're really focused and putting attention on how you are on your daily routine, into your daily routine. And if you're honest in that self-expression and your day-to-day stuff, what you be of service to, how you work, and what you've been working on, then your subconscious is going to be so much cleaner, so that everybody can be like, oh, this is my seat. You know, it's like you have in the passenger seat, you're going to go pick up your friend, and you have a whole bunch of dirt, you know, your McDonald's cup, your whole bunch of ting, ting, ting on the, and then you're like, oh, sorry, my bad. And you have to go and start rearranging stuff like that. There's not even enough room for Madam to be in the car. Whereas, you know, you can turn on Mexican mode and have 2-3 niggas in the truck, you know, one nigga holding on the top, you know, 4 or 5 niggas. If you have 3 people in the seat and 2 people sitting on people in them lap, and, you know, and then you have a guy sitting on the ground, and then you have the passenger and the driver. Watch when you get to the location, it's all fun. Watch that be the best drive you ever have, and stuff like that. If you get what I mean, there's room for everybody to come on, even if it's scarce. So Pisces, you can dream, but if your dream is so individualistic, and you're not being honest in your self-expression in your day-to-day things to make sure your subconscious is clean, your dream is going to be a delusion. And you're not going to be seen for the way that you want to be seen. For sure. For sure. So yeah, that's the energy of this full moon, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out here. Remember, being honest with that self-expression, and that teamwork makes the dream work. That's for real. Don't just go thinking that you could do shit alone, and then, you know, when shit hits the fan, expect, you know, people to be there, or when other people get involved, don't expect it. Incorporate how you want to be seen in your self-expression in a balanced way. Don't let it dominate, but know that one leads to the other. So when this full moon comes, there's no surprises. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Check out our website, truspace.biz. Check out our Instagram, truspace_. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.